Howdy folks, it's Reed Scott here with Liberty Racing Review, and as you can see behind me, there is action on track. We're here at Montgomery Motor Speedway today. We're at the Baby Bear races today. This is sort of a prelude event to the Alabama 200 Hunt for the Bear, which takes place next weekend. And so we're gonna showcase some of the work that's going on today. Got open practice most of the afternoon. Features going on tonight for the Outlaw late models and the Crown stocks. Buddy Steve's down there wandering in the pits somewhere, and he's going to be getting us some guests to come up here in the suite. We're going to be doing some interviews, talking to some folks, and got some good stuff lined up for this afternoon here in Montgomery. So with that being said, we'll see you in a little bit. So we're here with Chris Mitchell, one of the drivers of the Crown Stock field tonight. This is sort of a prelude to the Alabama 200. I know y'all aren't racing next weekend, but open practice, sort of preparing for the event. What's sort of the vibe like out there this afternoon?
Everybody's here for a good time. It's always nice. Our weather's been so crappy. It's nice to have a nice sunny day. It's warm for a change, so everyone's excited to get back on the track and have some fun. So far, so good. I've only been out once, but
I know you're part of a team that has a few different cars, modified, sportsman, outlaws. So what's that sort of like, having a bunch of different cars to sort of check notes against, and have a group to work on whatever division the car might be in?
So I moved to Alabama full-time in 2020, and when I first came, we were right in the heart of COVID and everything, so I worked with Augie a lot. Augie's a good friend of mine. My wife does the books at Grand American Race Cars, so it was tough after that because my schedule changes so much with work all the time that Augie really needed somebody in the shop that he could count on. We're booking customer jobs, if the cars coming in, and if it hailed or I needed to go work on the hail stuff, which is what I do, I had to leave. So Roger and Bobby Roos presented me an offer to come down and work on their stuff because they weren't on any sort of a schedule at all. So I work at their shop, helping them out. We have Wayne Foster in the shop. He does all the full-time stuff there, so he's taking care of everything in the shop, right? Towed her home, making sure the trailer's right, making sure the truck's right, making sure the cars are ready, tires are prepping everything, and I do all the setup stuff. And work with Jeremy Williams, our driver. We're going to run the IHRA stuff this year with one of our cars. We've got an Outlaw there that's really, really close right now. We only had a chance to race it a couple times last year. I think the last 3 races we raced, we podiumed on all 3 of them, so we're getting really close on that thing. We keep working on that. It's kind of neat actually being able to do all that because it gives me the opportunity to work on the pros and the supers with Pat Jett. So I've been helping Jett Motorsports out where I can, schedule permitting. So it's always something different, which is neat for me. I enjoy the puzzle of figuring these things out. So.
You were part of the Snowball Derby winning team with them a few years ago at the Cape Honeycomb, weren't you?
That's right, yeah. Yep, so that year I did Derek Thorne in the Pro Late model, and JC and those guys were doing Caden in the Super. So after the Pro was done, I flipped over to that team and helped out. It was a great effort. Everything fell into place, man. It's that magic, with Jeff passing away and everything that had happened that year. It was a great opportunity for everything just to fall into place. Jeff's family, his wife and kids were there, and everybody just kind of had a really emotional win. That was a really cool thing to be a part of.
Now, focusing here on Montgomery, we look out, we've got practice going on. What are some characteristics of this track that you have to adapt and prepare for when you get down here compared to other places?
Montgomery is a really, really, really easy track to overdrive. So, there's not a lot of banking in the corners. When you get in there, when you're coming down the straightaway, you're looking into the corner, you don't see the banking that catches the car like a place like Nashville or even Pensacola does for that matter. But you have to be careful not to enter too early. It's really important to have a nice wide entry, get to the middle, and you have to wait a long time. You use a lot more brake here than you think. You're around the corner a good ways before you throttle back up again. Compared to a lot of other tracks, you kind of use the throttle to turn the car. Not that you don't hear, but it just, you're almost through looking back at the next straightaway before you're wide open again, kind of dead right in the middle of the corner. You get to that point, then you're unwinding that wheel. You need to be wide open at that point, but you can't do it too early or the car will shove up. If you wait too late, you'll get run over. So it's kind of tricky finding those marks. But once you do, it's actually a fun track to race at.
Now, this Crown Vic class, we've seen it grow over the last couple of years. Tracks around here, Montgomery, Pensacola, even up at Sayre, Huntsville. These Crown stocks, they're showing up everywhere. What's it like to see the growth of this class?
I think it's great. If we can keep it controlled a little bit, racers are racers. We're going to push the envelope everywhere we can. So, I'm good with where we're at personally. But if we keep the real racy stuff, like factory parts on them, parts and pieces, shocks, and that kind of stuff. The street tire rule, I like that. It's cool to have that opportunity for an entry level class that doesn't break the bank. It's racing. It's going to cost money no matter what you do, but it's not getting ridiculous. Like you're not buying $6,000 worth of shocks to put on or I hope they're not putting them on a Crown Vic. So it's been a lot of fun. I mean, we built my car kind of as a joke for the other guys that work in the shop to run, and they're like, "Will you get in it?" And we were just having so much fun with it that we kept doing it. I mean, it's just a good time and no pressure, and it's just fun. I mean, they're a hoot to drive, and they're not as bad as you might think if you've never driven one. They actually handle half decent, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see what the future brings for these things, and hopefully it gets some younger guys or people that may not otherwise have the opportunity to race either involved or a stepping stone to get to the next level to keep our sport growing and alive.
Well, I guess good luck tonight, and we'll look forward to see how tonight turns out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll see what happens with car count here. I wish there was a few more around, but we'll give it all we've got and maybe come out with a W tonight.
All right, we're here with Kyle Gray, one of the Crown Stock competitors here tonight. We talked with Chris Mitchell earlier, and Kyle Gray's competing in the same class here in the Crown Vics. So here at Montgomery, what's this track like in this race car?
It's fun. I mean, this is our first official year running. We had a car before that wasn't, to our liking, so we got a new one, but it's fun. It's interesting. It's always changing. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that, you really don't think of, from driving down the road versus driving on a track. So it's interesting, to say the least.
You're from Prattville, right? So you're pretty local.
Yes.
So what's it mean to be here? I mean, I know this isn't Alabama 200 weekend, but it is kind of in collaboration with Alabama 200 weekend, getting to participate in kind of a historic event.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful to be here and to be a part of all of this. It's like I said, it's fun, it's interesting, and I just I'm privileged to be in the position to be where I'm at, to race in Alabama 200 and to race here at Montgomery Motor Speedway.
So what sticks out as far as your competition here in the Crown Stock division? We got a pretty strong field of cars, 20 plus every time we race here. So what sort of challenge is it like to run up against these guys?
For me, it's just always, again, I won't say it too much, but it's just learning. It's every practice lap, every race, everything. You're always learning something. And so even though you may have had a good, 5 or 6 practice laps, when it comes to the main heat, it just goes out the window. And it could have been mental errors, could have been vehicle errors, could have been, a little bit of everything. But it's nice to have the group that we have that are talented drivers, especially for me being a newcomer this first year, that I can pick their brains and kind of, put my own tools in my own toolbox to figure out how to make myself better and make the class more competitive.
You had mentioned this is your first full year. What's your racing background?
Zero. I have zero racing background besides racing four-wheelers, on dirt roads with my buddies or, some family members and stuff like that. But we come in, I think 2 races for the state championship last year. So we ran those 3, and then that was it. And we ran the snowball derby down in Pensacola in that car. And when we built it out, spec'd it out to bring it here to Montgomery, this is our first race of the first official season for the 427.
You mentioned Pensacola down at Five Flag Speedway.
Yes.
That's another historic track around here. You have any plans to go from track to track around here, or are you sticking to Montgomery, Pensacola?
I think it's going to be split up between me and my brother. This is me and my brother's endeavor, Gray Brothers Racing, that I think he's wanting to run Pensacola, and then I'm going to stick here at Montgomery. So that car will probably be traveling here in the near future.
You look at all the other classes here. I mean, we've got a ton: street stocks, modifieds, pro lates. Super late models come here every year. Is there any other particular type of car that you want to run one day?
At the moment, no. But if I had to choose, I'd probably just bump up to, I think the modifieds or maybe a street stock. I think it's still kind of in the realm of Crown stocks, but nothing too, pro late models or these, sprint cars, whatever you want to call it. So I think if I had to choose, it'd probably be like a street stock, something like that.
All right. Well, appreciate your time and good luck tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So we changed location a little bit, as you can see. We're here with Jim Law, defending Show Me the Money champion, Jim Law. We're here preparing for the biggest race of the year, the Alabama 200. Had open practice all day. How was the car treating you?
Man, it started off pretty bad. We had a miss in the car. We could not get out. We changed. We tried different boxes. We tried different all kinds of stuff. And finally changed the distributor, and that was what fixed it. So once we changed the distributor and got some laps under our belt, we laid down some good laps and had a good mock qualifying run in and went in the mid 50s. So we feel pretty good going into next Saturday. Just got all the bugs out of it today.
What's it going to take to be in contention after 200 laps here at this track, which I know can be hard on cars sometimes, and become a hunt for the bear winner?
Yeah, so they changed tire compounds on us with Soflake, and that compound's going to have a little bit of give and take to it. So there's going to be a saving your tires factor. There's going to be choosing the right time to pit. Last year we tried to wait as long as we possibly could to take tires, and it seemed to work out pretty well. We came out of the pits 5th and ended up finishing 3rd, and had a shot to win late really when Carson and John got together, so it just didn't work out in our favor. But I think there's going to be a little bit of tire conservation and really just staying smart and not trying to get involved in anybody else's mess.
With a few exceptions, the last few years, the winners of this race have only led a few laps towards the end. I think Bolin only led 5 laps last year. So there's a feeling that, a lot more people have a chance, I feel like. Do you feel that way too about this race?
Yes and no. I feel like that a lot of it matters what you do on your last pit stop, right? If you're in the top 10 and you change tires and make an adjust to the car, I think you got a shot at it, really. There's some good cars that are going to be here next weekend. There's probably 10 or 12 that really have a good shot at winning it. I think I really think that last pit stop and the adjustments you make to the car, that last pit stop, are really going to affect the outcome. If you're 5th to 10th and the guys in front of you get racy, or they make a bad adjustment on their pit stop and they end up going backwards, there's always that chance to mix it up.
And so you're the defending Show Me the Money champion. What's it going to take to back up that success and have another year and hopefully a second championship in a row?
Well, the main thing we did last year was just stay out of everybody else's troubles. We ran really good, really consistent up front all year long. We almost got that first win a couple times. It just didn't work out in our favor. When we got in a couple of wrecks last year that we thought, man, this is going to put us out of the race. And we came in the pits and patched the car together and salvaged top 10, top 5, just to keep points alive. So number 1 is obviously staying up front, keep trying to win races. Number 2 is just to make a good effort to finish every race as well, regardless of the circumstances.
Between here at Nashville, I know you run some races in the Super every now and then too. What's your main priority going to be for the season?
Our main priority this year is going to be Montgomery, Pensacola. Life is getting busy for me. Work's getting busy. I got 2 kids at home now, so we're not going to race as much as we have been. We're going to come down here and defend our championships, the plan, and then run the Alan Turner series of 5 flags. Finishing the top 10 in Alan Turner points is big because you get to go through Tech. You're one of the first 10 cars out of 60 through Tech on Wednesday during the Derby, so that's really important too.
The provisional can come in place too.
And the provisional is also a big situation. We've almost needed it 2 years in a row, so it's just that's a good one for us to run. So that's going to be our primary focus this year.
Well, thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
So once we got done talking with Jim Wall, open practice had concluded for the day, and it was time for him and the other Pro Late Model competitors to load up and head home, get prepared for the Alabama 200 next weekend, as of the time of this video's recording, on a Saturday, March 7th, 2026. But the action was not over for the night at the Baby Bear. We had feature racing left to go, with the Outlaw Late Models running a 35-lap contest and the Crown Stocks running a 25-lap contest. All in all, a great night of racing at Montgomery and a great way to get hyped up and get prepared for the biggest race of the year, the Alabama 200 Hunt for the Bear.
So we just wrapped up the Baby Bear races here in Montgomery. Steve's here alongside. Bubba Winslow won the biggest race of the night, the Outlaw feature, 35 laps. Austin Reeves won the 25-lap Crown Stock feature, and Justin Cruz, after finishing 5th place in a race earlier today in Opp, Alabama, came up and won the non-winners Crown Stock race, which was the first race of the night. And it was a fun night of racing. We got to talk to some folks, got to highlight some of the stuff that goes on here in the smaller divisions, you can call it, but still kind of building up hype for the biggest race of the year here next weekend, the Alabama 200. Steve, what did you think?
We got a lot of good footage throughout every different angle of the track, from the spotter stand, starting stand. I was kind of all over the place for a little while.
Got to sit in a hauler.
Yeah, got to sit in a very nice hauler. That 25-lap feature there at the end got a little dicey. At one point, they were almost 4 wide, and it was just an overall pretty good race.
Yeah. And so we'll be here a week from now, and for the Alabama 200, and then you can expect us to be here in Montgomery a lot this year. Obviously, this is the main racing job for me, so I'll be here nonetheless. But Steve will join me whenever he can. JP will join me whenever he can. Whoever, all the people that contribute to Liberty Racing Review and help this website and this YouTube channel and everything we got going on. We'll be posting here some more throughout the year. Looking forward to it, and we'll see you next time.